Howdy everybody, Maxwell McGee here, and I've got a special treat for you guys. I've got one of the undisputed kings of XBlig and developer on Escape Goat 1 and now Escape Goat 2, Mr. Ian Stalker. Ian, thank you so much for sitting down with us once again.
Hey, my pleasure.
So we're checking out Escape Goat 2, obviously, and I correct me if I have this wrong, sequel to Escape Goat 1?
It is a straight up sequel.
Alright, so I'm going to jump into the demo here. I'm playing, Ian's going to be talking. But talk us through some of the changes between 1 and 2.
Anyone who's played the first game is going to immediately notice the difference in graphics. So before it ran at a really low resolution, pixelated, could have been maybe a Commodore 64 or a Nintendo game. The new game is running in full HD. The graphics are just way more detailed, fully illustrated, and for the first time since my career started, I'm collaborating with an artist, with Randy O'Connor, who is best known for his work on Waking Mars and other Tiger-style games, plus his own games, such as Dead End.
So it looks like I'm lighting up these torches here to guide my path. But
yeah, those torches are basically to teach the player
and
how
that
to
shows
double
me
jump.
how to double jump. Oh, that's very clever. So yeah, that's one of the things we were talking about earlier. You are working on having a textless tutorial system in this game, whereas in the first game you had like little messages and prompts and things.
Yeah, it's still experimental. I'm still figuring out the best way to do it for some of the more advanced maneuvers the goat can do, but the ideal is just to give the button prompts and then have the game kind of demonstrate to the player.
Oh no, bad ideas. Speaking of the first game, perhaps for people who've not played or heard of Escape Goat 1, if you haven't been able to pick it up from just what you're seeing, what sort of game is that?
So it's a puzzle platformer, and it's all taking place on single screens. So there's no scrolling in the game. You can always see the whole thing all at once. So that's kind of like the old style of puzzle platformers, maybe like Lode Runner or Jetpack. And the gimmick of the game is that there's a lot of hidden machinery, and the environments mutate a lot. There's a lot of destructible, movable things, hidden gears and contraptions. So some of the levels are kind of like Rube Goldberg machines, where you have to, hit something that rolls across the screen and triggers a button that triggers something else.
Perhaps such as this orange barrel.
That's my way of subtly giving you a hint.
Let's see. Oh no, I was totally in there. Alright, we'll do it this way. So Ian, what brought you back to work on the Escape Goat series? Why not go after something? Because you have also worked on 2 Soulcaster games as well, which are a very different style of game than Escape Goat.
Right, and there is a Soulcaster 3 coming. It's just been put on hold while I make Escape Goat 2. It was a tough decision to pick which of these series to follow. Like, not a lot of indie developers make sequels, and I'm not really sure the reason behind that. But whenever I make a game, I always have a huge list of stuff I wanted to put in the game, but it put off for the sequel. So it's kind of like I'm trapping myself into making a sequel over and over.
I'm sure there's a very simple. Let me pause you right there. I'm sure there's a very simple solution that I'm not understanding.
Oh, I can give you a hint.
Okay.
You're gonna want to hit that very top button again.
Oh, the one up there in the corner?
Yeah. By hint, I mean I just exactly.
By
described what
hint,
to do.
you mean yes. Tell me exactly what I need. Those are the kinds of hints I need right now. But I'm sorry, as you were saying.
So for Escape Goat, there was some pretty good momentum. So the next thing you got to do is get the elevator down so that barrel can land on that switch when it moves over. There's some pretty good fan support for Escape Goat, and the media latched onto it pretty well, maybe a little bit more than Soulcaster. So I figured I would take advantage of that and just as an experiment try making a complete high-definition reimagining of the game. But it's all new levels, and there will be a lot of new gadgets, a lot of new mechanics, and a new way for the player to explore the world, where it's no longer a hub and linear stage layout. It's a bit more of a 2D map, where you're navigating around with default exits that just take you to adjacent rooms, and there are also secret doors, which we'll see coming up pretty soon, that take you to alternate branches in the dungeon or secret rooms.
And speaking of new mechanics, we also just picked up a little mouse friend who can crawl around and flip switches and get through narrow passageways fast.
And you found the one way to break this level.
Yeah, because I called him back to her. Alright, well, you mentioned the positive community support that this game had. I know the original Scapegoat had a whole bunch of like fan-made community levels. Some of them were pretty challenging, if I do say so myself, but some of them also had a lot of interesting ideas and mechanics. Did you draw inspiration from any of those when designing a Scapegoat 2?
I haven't actually straight up stolen anyone's idea for a level. People came up with a lot of combinations of gadgets that I never thought of, and had some really cool concepts. A couple worlds were built where there's like a dozen or so levels, all based around a really basic contraption that would just kind of like advance the level forward and keep it changing without too many moving parts. I haven't really, taken too much inspiration from those. I've just kind of been making levels that show off the new gadgets and train the player and not push too hard with the puzzles, at least for this demo. But the final game will have 100 rooms or more, and some of those will be brutally difficult.
So you've been showing the game off here at GDC 2013. What has sort of the reception been like?
It's I've been overwhelmed with how positive it's been. There's a new look for the game, which I totally love. I think Randy's done an amazing job. We've also got a new lighting engine, which is custom built for this by Kevin Gadd. And it's pretty much just universally people love the new look of it. I was kind of worried that some people would be like, oh, where's the pixel art? You're selling out, you're doing the HD thing. But that's totally not been the case, and I'm glad everyone likes it as much as I do. Yeah, so this is a great example of a secret door. There's a really easy to get to exit right here, and then there's a really hard to get to exit at the bottom, which is guarded by a bunch of stuff. So this is a situation in the game where you kind of depending on your personality, you'll either keep things moving forward or torment yourself for a few minutes with trying to beat it and find the secret areas. And if you do reach the secret area, you'll be rewarded with some extra hard levels.
Oh, good. Well, for the sake of the demonstration, I'm gonna try to keep it moving.
Yeah, working with local light sources has been so awesome. Just being able to apply lamps and obstacles that cast shadows can draw the player's attention to certain things using torches. I was
going to say it could be a very good, subtle way to sort of draw the eye towards one place or another to give a subtle hint.
I've learned from watching those Half-Life developer videos.
Yeah, Valve does a really, really excellent job of that. You want to breeze us through this next room right quick here?
Sure. This one looks worse than it is. Just have to use the mouse. And again, there's multiple pathways you can take if you find the way to the secret door.
So for this game, are you still thinking a Xbox Live indie game release? Or are you going for something larger?
It's going to start with PC, and the Xbox is something that's like a maybe.
And I know, as we talked about earlier, and you may have already touched on this and I just missed it, but level editing was a big part of Scapegoat 1. Is the same sort of tool set going to be featured in Scapegoat 2?
Yeah, absolutely. There will be a packed-in level editor, and it'll be the same one that I used to make the whole game. And here we are at the final room for the GDC demo.
Okay, well, as you wrap it up here, do you have any ideas so far about a release window?
I would say we're trying to make it spring, and so that's just a couple months left in spring, but we've made really good progress over the last month. Like, it's just really hit a stride, and every week it gets better and better, so I think there's a good chance we can make that.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for stopping by, and if you folks haven't checked out the original Scapegoat, you can find it on Xbox Live Indies and also online now as well.
Correct.
And then, was it on Steam?
It is not on Steam. You can vote for it on Greenlight.
There you go, vote for it on Greenlight, and maybe eventually it'll be on Steam.
Yeah.
So, and thank you, Ian, for stopping by.
Thank you so much, Maxwell.
Game looks like a lot of fun. Can't wait to play it.
Cool, thank you.
All right.